Welcome everybody to the course fly-through for the Midwinter Classic here at the Otaco Golf Course, the second stop of Dunedin's Black Ice Winter Series. Here we have a course map. Now the most important thing to notice is the red dotted line, which is the boundary fence for the course. Going over this fence will mean your OB. Starting on hole 1, we have a par 5 with two different tees. A tees will be playing for our MPO and MA1 divisions, and the B tee will be for the FA1 division. So here we go, flying off the top tee. And then on our left, you have the women's tee, the FA1 tee. It's all about putting out one big, large crush on this hole, and then when you do that, you do another one. As we approach the green, you'll notice that we're going underneath these two trees on our left, and there's a bit of a hump, so you want to probably try skip something up onto the hump and get it down underneath the trees. The hole is definitely eagleable, but with such a tough shot into the green, a birdie will also be well earned. Hole 2 is a 73 metre par 3. Note the OB boundary fence on the left side of the hole. So the way to play this is to either hang a forehand out over the OB, put a backhand up the middle, or potentially even try do a crazy hyzer on the right. You want to go up and over these undulations and then approach the basket, here sitting on the edge of the little mound. Alright, now on to hole 3, one of the feature holes on the course. We have an island green. Teeing off from just here, you want to make a shot that's probably at least 30 to 40 metres to make it to the start of the island. The island is approximately this lower undulation, the dip in the ground, surrounded by the red flat stakes at the moment. You want to land onto the island where you go into a drop zone. Hole 4 is a short par 4 at 120 metres. The first shot is a tunnel shot where you want to make sure you make it through the gap so you can approach the green for your birdie. Note there is a OB ball green on your right. This shouldn't come into play, but if you do end up on the first cut of the green, it will be OB and you play from where you went out of bounds. Your second shot will hopefully be to approach this huge mound, one of the signature mounds of the course. The basket is perched right on the end, so you don't want to go too long. You'll be coming back with a deadly death putt. Hole 5 is an 103 metre hole, playing as a par 3 for MPO and MA1 and a par 4 for FA1. It's a downhill shot where you want to make sure you stay out of the gorse on your right, but also make sure you stay close enough that you have a chance at getting the birdie. A pushing forehand would be an ideal shot for this hole. As you can see, the basket just perched behind this tree and will be tough to access for the birdie. Hole 6 plays as a par 4 for MPO and MA1 and a par 5 for FA1. It comes in at 181 metres. Your first shot is putting out a controlled distance shot, potentially a hyzer if you've got that extra distance. You want to land just at the mouth of the opening that we're approaching now. The tree on your right, the second blue gum, the more defined blue gum, will be a mando, and you have to play to the left of this. If you don't, you'll be going to a drop zone. Then your second shot, if you're going for the birdie or eagle, is going down this tunnel and approaching this green right ahead. Hole 7 is an 85 metre par 3. Most importantly is you hit the gap between the tree on your right there and the tree just over on your left. Going in between, it is a double mando to make it between the gap. Once you've done that, you'll be approaching the basket, which is just perched on the edge of the hill right up ahead. Hole 8 is a 110 metre par 3 for MPO and MA1 and a par 4 for FA1. Playing off the top of this hill here, you're going over top of the green down there on your right. Remember, landing on the green is out of bounds, but hopefully that shouldn't happen. Then, hopefully if you've got the distance, you'll be approaching the trees up ahead and trying to make the gap, either for birdie or for par. The basket just nestled here with OB slightly deep of the basket. Hole 9 is a 61 metre par 3, the shortest hole on the course. Note, this hole will also be playing as the CTP for the FA1 field. Pull out a putter or pull out a mid-range and have a hyzer starting from the right, come in towards the left through this gap here and landing in the hollow where the basket is tucked in very nicely, potentially an ace run. Hole 10 is a par 4. Playing off the ATs, it's 140 metres, and playing off the BTs, 112 metres. We're currently coming off the ATs at the moment and flying over the BTs just on our left. First shot is making sure you throw something nice and straight, not going too far left as you have the boundary fence that comes into play. Once you get to about here, a wee bit further would be ideal. You can approach the green, the OB fence still on your left. Pick a line between the trees and then nestle your shot up by the basket. Hole 11 comes in at one of the toughest holes on the course at 212 metres, playing as a par 4 for MPO and MA1 and a par 5 for FA1. The tee shot, you've got to make sure you hit the gap, otherwise you're going to be taking a really big number. Then it becomes really open. Not much to do but throw far. Make sure you don't go left because the rough on the left hand side is very rough. Got all that room, how could you ever miss the fairway? Once you get closer to the green, it's all about making sure you hit the gap for a park job, with the basket tucked in behind these two trees. A birdie here will be well earned. Hole 12 is a 91 metre par 3. Note the OB green just on your left. Shouldn't come into play, but you never know. Here we go, flying over top of the green and then approaching the line of trees up ahead. You want to make sure you pick a gap and commit to it, otherwise you're not making it to the green. Approaching the basket now, just behind the trees. A 2 again will be well earned. Hole 13 is a 78 metre par 3. Note, this will be the CTP hole for the MPO and MA1 divisions. Initially, you have to hit a tight shot off the tee, and then play a shot that starts from the left, goes around the trees on your right, and then fades a little to the right, and goes straight from there. A really tough shape to hit, and one that you'll feel really rewarded when you do. Hole 14 plays as a par 5 for the men at about 260 metres, and for FA1 will be a par 4 coming in a bit shorter at 112 metres. Playing off the tee All you got to do is throw far. In practice, I threw a roller and got it down 180 metres. On our right now will be approximately where the FA1 Division tees off. And so all you got to do is keep on throwing. You see those trees on our right? You'll be wanting to look for one of the best gaps to go from this fairway off the fairway to approach the green. The camera, the drone, will take the biggest gap here up to the basket that's on the mound. Definitely eagleable for the big arms, but a well-earned 4, because at the top of the mound is a drop-off, and that's where bogey comes into play. Hole 15 again places a par 5 for MPO MA1 at 255 metres, and is a par 4 for FA1 coming in at about 135 metres. Going off the ATs, the first shot needs to be a big panning anizer or potentially something that goes underneath that tree. This is where the big shots will start to land, and again what you want to do is keep on throwing. Note, this fly through was made a week or so before the event and we made at Mando. On our right now is where FA1 will be teeing off, and the shot from here is to make sure you get into this hollow and have a nice look towards the green over the rough. The drone now, or not the drone, sorry, the drone is no longer flying, the batteries are flat, is going over this rough spot. Now this doesn't play as OB, but you want to make sure you don't land here. We'll put a nice wee path through it, make it to the other side for the longest par 5 on the course. Hole 16 is a 94 metre par 3. Now this hole has a funny rule. As you can see, there's a lot of gorse on our left, and so we'll be having a drop zone dedicated to abandoned throws and lost discs. If you don't want to throw your shot because you're in the gorse or you simply can't find it, you proceed to the drop zone, which will be about here, with a 1 shot penalty. The tough part of this hole is trying to land something at the top of the mound and not have it skip down. Death putts also incoming. Hole 17 is a 90 metre par 3 and one of the most beautiful holes on the course. It sets up as a very nice tunnel shot with your row of trees on your left and the early tree on your right to make sure you go up the gap. Straight fairways and straight mid-ranges will probably be the play. As we approach the green now, you'll notice no mounds. You're probably sick of them at this point, and you'll be happy to have a nice easy putt, hopefully for the 2. Hole 18, the final hole on the course, comes in at 225 metres, playing as a tough par 4 for MPO and MA1 and a par 5 for FA1. Playing off the tee here, you get a let something rip and glide all the way down the fairway. Note there will be a Mando on the right, making sure you keep to the fairway and not pop over to the other side. Miss the Mando, you play from the drop zone. Don't put something out to the left, there is the OB boundary fence. I've done it before, it's not a good idea. As we approach the green now, tucked in on your right, on a slightly wee mound with the flaxen behind, a really nice spot for the green. Thanks for watching this course fly through. Make sure you watch the online players meeting when it comes out, and we look forward to welcoming you to the course and throwing some big shots.